Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Brokerpreneur Podcast. I am Dr. Ben Spears, the ambassador of Flow. I am here with the big guy, as usual, Dr. Matt Vi. How you doing, Matt?
Dr. Matt Vi. I don't even know what I'd be a doctor
Honorary.
in. Honorary Dr. Matt Vi. What would I be a doctor in? Not recruiting. What would I be a doctor in? Anger management. What are you laughing at, Ben?
Dude, here's the thing. You manage your anger well.
I do.
You're like, I'm angry at you.
And I'm angry at you. And I'm angry at you. Get it done.
I'm very specific with who I'm angry at.
Yeah.
Man, we say that. Matt's not angry. Matt doesn't get angry at people.
I don't.
Come on.
No need in that.
Yeah, there's no need in that. Matt, we got pretty cool topic today. It's kind of that time of the year. It's December. The holidays are coming up, and it's just we want people to just take a break for a second.
Yeah.
Not like a vacation, guys. Listen,
Right.
Take a break from the same old,
Right.
and get out of the office.
That's right.
Right. So tell us a little bit about before I tell them how to follow us and stuff. What that means.
Yeah, so smart. So you want to kind of shake it up a little bit is what you're basically doing, right? This can be your company quote unquote retreat, right? For you and your staff and your agents and your management and all that kind of stuff. Or it can be a sales meeting, right? Or it can be the holiday party, or it can be the whatever. We're just going to talk about a couple of things that you can do to get people out of the ordinary to get extraordinary results.
Yeah, so this is like the good kind of retreat, not like the Transformers Starscream type of retreat.
Yeah, whole different. Yeah, a whole different type of retreat.
Okay, just want to make sure everybody understands.
This is more like a regroup than a lick your wound.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, guys, wherever you listen to this, make sure to hit that follow and that subscribe button. There's absolutely no better time than the present than to go to brokerpreneurpodcast.com. Right there on the page, you can sign up for our weekly recruiting newsletter where we send you just some of the coolest real estate news and things, events and things that we have going on. Special offers on some of the stuff from Prospect Boomerang, and it's just stuff that you can only get and see in the newsletter. So make sure you do that. brokerpreneurpodcast.com. So Matt, Cobra Commander was also very good at retreating.
He was.
Right? I don't know. I can't remember if Destro retreated a lot.
No, Destro wasn't much of a retreater.
He wasn't much of a retreater. Mm-hmm. If you have a Destro on your team,
right?
Right? Be like, listen, man, it's different. It's different.
It's a different retreat.
Yeah, man, it's okay. Calm down.
It's the other kind. It's the other kind.
Yeah, so let's kind of break it down. What would this look like if you said, hey guys, we're gonna get out of the office? Does it have to be like, half a day? Do you have to go like to Maui for a week? What does it look like?
You got to take the whole office to Maui, right? Let them listen to this podcast.
Yeah, and your favorite podcast hosts.
That's exactly right. Oh, yeah. So you got to be careful how you approach it, right?
Yeah.
So if everybody's kind of in their comfort zone, and you walk up and you go, hey, guess what we're doing tomorrow? We're gonna all bust out of here, and everybody's gonna leave their whatever, and we're going and we're gonna go do this. They're gonna be like, check out what?
Say what now? Calm down.
A couple personalities are going to be like, oh yeah, that's great, whatever, and then they're going to get lost and not be there, right? Yeah. And then the other personalities are just going to be like, I'm not going, right?
Yeah.
So what you got to do is you have to kind of build up to it, okay? Which brings us to a very good point here. Got to have an agenda, got to have a plan of what's going to do, when, all that kind of stuff. This isn't kind of a last minute thing of I think we're going to go do it this way.
Yeah.
Have a plan, have it figured out, know where it is that you're going to go, know how you're going to, right? So think about it like this. If some of your people are going to break down into two parts, right? They're depending on how you want to look at it personality wise, they're the perfection people and they're the people, right? Yeah. Okay. The perfection people like an agenda. They like things to go a certain way, right? The people like the excitement. They just want to be around something new and something different. If you take it off site, the people are going to be happy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The perfection people, you took it off site and they don't know what's happening. They're not going to dig it.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you have to do is you have to make them more comfortable with it, right?
Yeah.
So what you're going to do is you're going to have an agenda. You're going to talk about it ahead of time. You're going to talk about the benefits of it ahead of time. You're going to talk about how easy it is for them ahead of time and how they don't have to, not that they don't have to participate. We'll get into that in a minute. Mm-hmm. But they're not going to have to contribute to something they're not comfortable or don't understand what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So make all of that crystal clear in your lead up and your planning and your agenda, everybody's going to love it. They'll enjoy being out of the norm and you having taken care of them, making sure things go a certain way. Take a step back and look at the last time you did something off-site with your office. If it was well planned and you did a good job of planning and notifying, everybody had a great time. If you didn't, that's when the complaints came in.
Yeah.
So don't create an issue for yourself.
Yeah.
Plan it out, give yourself plenty of time, have a good agenda, make sure that everybody knows what's going to happen, and they will enjoy it.
No, absolutely they will. And I want to talk a little bit about, two things, right? So it's one thing, but I have two kind of little, what do you call them, anecdotes maybe about
right. Okay.
When we're working, we're like, we're at our desk or we're working or, you're at your, stand up desk and these different things. Everybody has like their place where they work, I guess
right.
is what I'm saying. When we shoot a podcast, right? Like we want to be in the studio, where all of our equipment is and our whiteboards and we can put our show notes up and all that kind of stuff. When we have our, weekly staff meetings, right? We want to go like to cool conference room and
right.
sit there and use all the technology there and it's just every little place has its own vibe, and when we're in those places it's like, man, I can be focused on where this is.
Right.
And there was a book one time, I can't remember what it was, and you'll probably know what it was, just refresh my memory, where the guy brought up an example of it's very difficult to fall asleep at night if you do things like work in your bed.
Right.
Or in the bedroom. Like if your office is in your bedroom, right?
Right.
For those people who maybe have a desk in their bedroom or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it very difficult to sleep because it's like that's where your work is.
Mm-hmm.
Or the opposite. It makes it very difficult to work because it's like that's where my sleep is.
Right.
or
right.
whatever.
Depends,
yeah. And I think that's where it becomes so important to actually really put some thought into not only, of course, the agenda, right? That's first and foremost, but also where you're actually having
yep.
this. And the type of atmosphere that you're trying to create, because the last thing that you want is to do this in the conference room of your brokerage, and everybody that's sitting in there is like,
this is where we have our sales meeting.
This is where we have our sales
just another
meetings,
sales
or
meeting, right.
maybe they can see their computer out the door, and they're like, I got all these
computer's
things.
winking at them.
Yeah, I got all these things that I need to finish. This guy's
like,
in here
here
talking about benchmarks. Right,
come
whatever.
here, come and sit down. The chair's comfortable.
Exactly. I got Minesweeper.
That's right.
So let's talk a little bit about choosing that space and kind of the atmosphere that maybe they want to create, or options that they could have.
Yeah. So look at it like this. If you go to a park that's got a bunch of swings and kids running around and all that kind of stuff, that's going to make people think about their family, yep. right? If you go to a restaurant that's busy, that everybody goes and parties out on Friday night, and you're in the back room of that, you're gonna have a hard time getting everybody to focus on what they need to, because they're thinking of it. Like, so try to make it a place that is as neutral and has as good a vibe as possible. The more neutral, the better. The less people that have exposure to that place, or that there's a preconceived notion to that place, the better off that you're going to be. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then the vibe that the place has, if it's cool, right? So if there's something to it that just makes it unique, right?
Yeah.
If there's something to it that's just like, man, this is really cool. So I don't even know when it was. It was a very long time ago. Went to something with a brokerage I was a manager at, and it was a regional. It was probably 10 states, 12 states, something like that. It was actually really well attended for the size and the time, because the market was good back then. It was probably 2005, we show up and there's just all of these different brokers and all these people, because it was convenient to get to. And a lot of people went because the restaurant that we were going to was a very well-known restaurant for the home cooking, comfort food that they cooked. And it's probably been on diners, drives and dives and whatever that is, right? Yeah. Several times for all of that. And right next to it, there was a really nice bar, and which some real estate people like. And then there is on the other side of it, there was a Harley Davidson motorcycle kind of like museum type of thing, just a private, whatever it was. So many people, when we were in line to sit down, because this place was packed.
Yeah.
There was the locals were there, plus we were all getting tables, right? And there was a bunch of us. And so many people, when they were in line, looked at all the other things that they wanted to do and were excited about that. And looking back at it, the engagement from the people over the next 2 days at the meeting was better just because how that day started, just how that evening started, right? Just everybody was
like,
kind
this
of,
is going to be fun.
yeah, everybody's forced into talking to each other. You kind of get to know each other. Hey, what are we going to get out of this? All that kind of stuff and everything. So everybody was just kind of opened up, ready to go. And I think a lot of that had to do with, it was a cool place and it had a good vibe and it got things kicked off the right way. And that doesn't mean that we're saying that your event should be a 3-day event or anything like that. Please understand it, right? This is just, start off the right way and you're going to end up with really good results.
Yeah. What's going to happen is, you may start and you say, gosh, we're going to do a half day at the Radisson, Red Roof Inn or whatever.
Right.
But you're going to learn a little bit, right? Maybe the next one's a little bit better. As they continue to get better, your company's going to start to scale and grow faster, and you're going to have better buy-in, from everybody on your team. And then it's just going to get to a point where you're like, hey, guys, we're all going to go on like a 3-day weekend to, wherever. I've got a cabin in, Montana or something like that. And let's do our thing.
Let's go fly fishing and do our thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So you talked about the agenda, and you spoke on this for just a second, but I want to talk about it a little bit, just a little bit more. You can't have these things be one of those sessions where everybody comes and listens to you talk.
Right. Yep.
Right. And one of the cool things that we do, and this was your idea, is okay. There's an agenda here, all the things that we're going to do, but everyone in our company kind of had something to lead.
Right.
And it doesn't mean like. Because we're not necessarily talking about like having a retreat with all of your agents ever, right? This is like your team and your staff,
right?
But give each one of them, say, even if it's 20 minutes and somebody's like, man, I'm just like, I don't like talking to people and that kind of thing. Can I wear a paper bag?
Right.
Whatever. Give everybody something that they can stand up there
100%.
And be the leader, talk about. Again, you're only going to get that buy-in. And we're going to talk about this in just a second. We can really, boil it into the same topic if you'd like. It makes it that much easier to go to that person later, every week, every month, that kind of thing, and say, gosh, that thing that you talked about at the retreat, like how's that going?
Yep.
Hey guys, this podcast is powered by Prospect Boomerang.
We all know broker owners struggle with profitability. Prospect Boomerang compounds your profits by recruiting the best agents to your brokerage.
For consistent growth, visit prospectboomerang.com.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's going to get buy-in from the whole team is what you're talking about. Yeah, that's absolutely huge. But, one of the things that's going to happen is if all everybody has to do is show up, sit down, and listen, then that's all they're going to be prepared to do.
Yeah.
But if everybody knows that they have to come down and they've got to go to the event and they got to be on their game because they're going to have to talk for their part. If they know they're going to have to stand up and talk, if they know they're going to have to stand up and your CFO is going to, if you've got one, your CFO is going to talk. Excuse me. CFO is going to talk for 15 minutes about the State of the Union, right? Mm-hmm. Your marketing team is going to talk about, some of the results that they had, and then some of what's coming up for the next year, right? You have all those things laid out, and you let people talk about it. They're going from peaks of fear and anxiety and whatever it is. They're going from peaks of that to peaks of readiness, to focusing, to calming back down, and then to engaging. But they're going to be more connected with the other people that are in their same exact situation. Mm-hmm. So if all you do is if all everyone does is shows up and listens to you as the broker talk, then everyone is conditioned to do the same exact thing. You're literally forcing them into a crowd of people that don't want to engage.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you do instead is you say, I'm going to talk a little bit, and then we're going to have so-and-so talk a little bit and so-and-so talk a little bit. Whatever the biggest topic is, let's say that leads are a big topic for you and you're announcing something new and everything. Maybe your marketing person comes up and says, okay, this is what happened with marketing last year. They spend 5-10 minutes. They say, but I'm going to come back up in a few minutes and I'm going to talk about leads and an exciting new program that we have. But, I'm going to talk about that in the next hour or something, like in the next whatever. And then the CFO comes up and talks, and then whoever talks. And then all of a sudden the marketing person comes back up and talks about leads. If everyone's prepared, and they all have to contribute a little bit. They're going to be engaged because the reciprocation of them wanting people to be engaged with them, and they're going to automatically be in turn be engaged with the other people. It's all going to make a big difference, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you bring up a great point. As those people are up there and they're kind of building in this this feeling of, gosh, we're all in this together. I know I got to say something. She's got to say something. He's got to say something. It makes everyone really want to support each other while they're up there, because the last thing that you want to do is like ask someone to lead something and then like shit on all their ideas.
Right. Right. Because you're next, baby.
Yeah, because you're next, homie. Don't go first.
That's right. If you ain't first, you're last. As Ricky Bobby would say.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I just want to throw that out there. We don't necessarily have to even talk too much about that, but that's a very important thing. This isn't a time to, you can say, well, gosh, like, guys, let's get everybody's input on this particular topic. And like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. That's a great idea. And then you want to record
absolutely
the whole thing. It doesn't mean like you don't have to go like, Matt and Ben and have cameras everywhere and audio, microphones and all that kind of stuff everywhere. Right. It can just be like, okay, we got the big white Post-it notes. Mm-hmm. We're going to write these down, and we're going to roll them up, and we're going to keep them. We're going to talk about them, every week, every month, once a quarter, like whatever your retreat, agenda says. But ultimately, and this is one topic that I do want us to close on, is how many times have you had meetings in your office where you're like, okay, what's going on next week? Well, we got to focus on next week. Well, we got to focus on next week. And it always seems like, oh gosh, I'm living like 1 week at a time. Yep. Or my brokerage, even worse, my brokerage changes 1 week at a time.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because we keep coming up with all these new ideas.
Every time there's a meeting, something's changing.
That's exactly that's exactly right. Yeah. And so the cool thing about having something like this is, gosh, you can plan out, let's say 2022, or if you're listening to this next year, you can plan out 2023 or just the next 12 months from whenever you have it.
Right.
And then when you leave, instead of every week or every month coming up with something new, you're going back to your retreat, you're looking at your notes and saying, this is what we said we were going to work on.
Yep.
Where are we on each one of these different pieces?
Yep.
And, and you said this earlier today, right? Is this something good? How do we do well with it? Is this something, man, this is struggling? What do we need to change? Or what are the things that are like, we need to throw this thing out as fast as we can.
Jettison, man.
Because it is just
that shit is on fire, push it overboard.
Yeah, that's
jettison. That's
exactly
a Navy term. I guess it's a Navy term. But absolutely, you got to be willing to get rid of it. And one of the things that look around your town, go to Toastmasters, go to your church, go to just places that people that networks that and get one of those people to keynote for you. Mm-hmm. Right. So just have somebody come up and talk, and depending on how long your retreat is, it might be somebody that just opens up for 20 minutes. Yeah. Right. It could be somebody that if you've got a full day thing, it could be somebody that comes in and speaks and moderates, right? Mm-hmm. So there's somebody that comes in and gives the, hey, this is what we're doing, and rah, and let's go. And then they're the ones that kind of make sure that everything goes the way it's supposed to for that day, right? Yeah. A consultant, for lack of a better way of putting it. Those are all things that help you make sure that you're staying on track, and that a big part of this is that you as the broker, if you're standing up there the entire time, coaching and directing and consulting and all this kind of stuff, you're not part of the retreat at that point.
Yeah.
You're facilitating the retreat. You're proctoring it. You as the person that is the one running the business, you need to be in that retreat. You need to be able to take that hat off and get out of that zone that you're normally in and get somebody else to help you take a close look at some of the things that you need to so that you can level up.
Yeah, I absolutely love it.
You can close the gaps is what will happen at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, or recognize where they are.
Yeah, exactly. See your blind spots for sure.
Exactly. So Matt, anything more to add before I kind of wrap this retreat up and put a Christmas bow on it?
We could talk about this. This is another one we could talk about for quite a while.
Yeah,
because there's a lot to it, and it lays a foundation and a framework if you do it the right way, and people look forward to it. And you add some team building stuff in there, right?
You know what we should do?
What's that?
Here's what we should do, Matt.
Okay, here we go, Ben.
We should do like a 3-day episode run, because let's say the retreat's like 3 days, and we talk a little bit in the morning, something, you know, we do a podcast of something that, you know, we feel like will guide them in that retreat, their day, right? And they can come in, they can, you know, listen to their podcast for 30 minutes while they're like getting ready.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, all right, I'm gonna go crush this retreat. Yeah, that might be something cool. If you guys think that'd be cool, right? Like,
all right,
you know,
so hang on. I got an idea.
No, listen, raise your hand.
I got an idea. Yeah, raise your hand. This is what we should do. We should actually host a retreat. People can come. Our clients can come to it. Clients come to it for free. They got to get here, right? And then we just run through. We have a retreat, but teach them how to have a retreat. Teach them how to do business planning. Teach them how to launch ancillary services. Teach them how to, you know, we'd focus on recruiting, of course, agent productivity, all that kind of stuff, and just have a couple of days worth of this is what you do.
Yeah, let's just see, guys. If you think that would be really cool, send us an email, right? support@prospectboomerang.com and say, I was listening to the retreat podcast, and I think that having a retreat would be a very cool idea, and that's something that I would enjoy.
You can write off coming to St. Pete.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you know, and it's one of those things like, gosh, yeah, if we do that and you want to have that, we're more than happy to do that. Just let us know if that's something you'd be interested in.
Yeah, getting to meet some of our other clients and everything, that'd be cool.
Yep, exactly. So Matt.
Yeah, Ben.
I know that you got some kind of action item, unless that's the action item that you just gave. And I'm going to close this up just a little bit, and we'll go from there. Guys, wherever you are retreating, make sure you're, if you're retreating on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, make sure you hit that red follow button. If you're watching this on YouTube, this is where the red button is. Hit that red button and subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you hit that bell right beside of it. Also, you get notified every time we drop a new episode. Matt.
Yeah, Benny.
There's no better time than the present for everybody to go to prospectboomerang.com and see what we got going on over there. We've got some really cool things. Our most popular product for everybody to get started is the Brokerpreneur Fast Track, and it is just an insanely inexpensive way for brokers, managers, recruiting managers to get involved with the things that we do. And one single hire pays for the entire year of all of it.
Of course, it's money back guarantee too. So, okay. So here's the action item, right? So here's the thing to do. If you're contemplating having a retreat, take out a piece of paper and write down these 4 things. Okay. Leads, cost, revenue, and expenses.
Training. I knew I was going to get it. Culture.
That's exactly right.
Write
those 4 things down. Prioritize them. Which one's the most important? Prioritize which one is the most important for you to accomplish in the next 12 months, and which one are you already prioritizing the most, right? Yeah. And then fill in the gap of some of what you could do in each of those. You know, you might have a program already that's just not being used, right? You might have a training program that's just sitting on the shelf that you love doing that always helps everybody out, but the past year and a half, for some crazy ass COVID reason, you haven't been teaching it, right? Right. So this is going to cause you to go back and kind of take a look at that. What is it that I need to do that's going to level things up, right? Because market is shifting. We know that. Yep. And so I don't want our listeners being caught in the market and it being halfway swung the other way and them going, oh my God, what's happening, right? Yeah. I want them to be planning, be ready to be able to tackle the benefits and the opportunities on the other side of the market. That's why why we want you to do a retreat. Right, yeah. And this isn't Game of Thrones winter. We don't mean the Winter King or whatever his name was.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you so much. We do
always.
We do these podcasts for so many reasons, but there's just one that stands out so much. Matt, can you tell us what that is?
Because we want to be part of their win.